You are live now. Pass you your mug. You're now live on camera. I'll bring coffee.
Okay. Hello world, thank you. I'm Egil and Bragi has just gone away for a minute, but I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you who are asking about me and about Bragi. We are doing well. This is our first chance of filming. Please remember, the COVID thing isn't over. It's easier with the vaccination, but please remember a face mask when you're out in public. That's my little bit of preaching, and I hope all of you are doing well in this country and abroad. I realise that certain things are different wherever you go, but use your common sense, you know what I mean? We don't want to lose any of you. I mean, I've lost 2 friends, and you know, it wasn't actually COVID, it was cancer, but either way, it affected how they were treated. I'd like to say a big thank you to our National Health, a special one to my good friend Susie, who's been working all hours, and to all the nurses and doctors. Thank you very much. And yeah, things are getting better. You've got to remain positive. We're not completely out of lockdown at the moment, but we can do a lot more, hence I'm here filming. And just be sensible. You know, our national health is stretched as it is, and they don't need any more of that kind of thing. So anyway, I hope you've got some questions for us. Whether I can answer them or not remains to be seen. Bragi's wandering around. I'm not sure what he's doing. So yes, I'm filling in. So what have I been doing? Well, not a great deal. There's not a great deal you can do. I've only been out shopping to get food in. I've actually changed my diet so that I don't come out massively fat. I've cut down on that. I usually have about an hour's walk from my flat to Bragi's place, which again it's been different, so it's good fun. I keep in contact with people, my friends and some relatives. My brother rings me on a Sunday. My sister, I text or ring, and she rings me sometimes as well. I try and keep in contact with her because she just lost her husband, poor gal, and we got to support each other through this. And that's what I'm trying to get across. Oh, hang on, I've got a cup of coffee coming here. Thank you, darling.
Prego.
But anyway, as I say, the main thing is we're not out of the woods yet, but please remember, stay safe. Wear the mask. I've got a mask, and it doesn't matter what you look like. I'd rather look silly than dead, you know. So I hope you all keep in contact with us. And once again, thank you to all of you who've been asking about Bragi and me. We do appreciate that. And hopefully we'll be able to have a chinwag on the net later on. We've got quite a few ideas coming up, and anybody who's got an idea who would like to put it forward, please do. If you have any criticism, let us know. We're here for you. Okay, we enjoy doing what we're doing, but at the same time, we want you to appreciate the content. It's not much good us doing stuff if you don't like it. You see my point? So anyway, that's that.
Do you want some fresh air?
I've just been asked, do I want some fresh air? That will be awfully decent, thank you. And now the veil of glass is drawn back and the fresh air comes through. But anyway, enough of my nonsense. Please send us a message if you want to.
But there's nobody watching yet.
Oh,
but
right.
Just keep talking. Somebody might join.
So I'm rattling away.
If not, this live stream will go public afterwards, and then you know they can watch it afterwards.
Yeah, don't leave it too long because I've got to walk back and
And let's not forget, and the content that Tyrkir has been filming. Got to talk about his poetry.
Yeah,
How
well,
great it is.
Tyrkir and I go back a long way. But he is a very talented actor. He does some amazing poetry, and as I say, send us some comments and about that as well. We're all together on this channel, and we'd be interested to hear what you have to say. We always have been, whether it be different subjects or commenting on what we've already done. Either's good by me, and I know by Bragi, who is incidentally lounging around in an evening dress, looking very seductive. Here these high heels on, and oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. No, he's actually in a tracksuit top and jeans.
Adidas, the best.
Adidas.
Well, Adidas.
Yeah, well, what can I tell you? I'm going to have some coffee, yeah. Oh, that's hot. I'll put that down there for the moment.
Oh.
But, as I say, the weather in Derby is pretty good. It's going to probably pour down later on, knowing me.
Do you want to let folks know where Derby is? Because a lot of people don't know where it is.
Well, there are several Derbys in the world, actually. There's some in America, some in Australia. This is the Derbyshire in Derbyshire, where what's called the Midlands or Midlands Central area are about 100 miles from York and 100 miles from London. It's quite a big county. It varies quite a bit. The south part is very different from the north. The north of the county looks like a bit like Lord of the Rings country. Very beautiful and quite dramatic. I'm not from Derbyshire originally. I'm from Kent, which is on the coast down south, which is another beautiful county. But I've lived up here since 1960. So yes, I'm getting on in years. But Derbyshire, having said that, is very beautiful. It's very different north and south. The accent, for instance, I would say that the average Derbyshire person would say, "Oh, he's a bit posh, isn't he?" The accent. If I was speaking in broad Derbyshire, they wouldn't understand me too much, just say. But I'm from the south, so there we go. But I'm rambling on because I'm looking for things to talk about.
Talk about filming.
Talking about filming. It is. I mean, it's very odd. I mean, since before Christmas last year, a lot of things have happened. It's sad that we have this terrible, plague, I think is not too big a word to use. It's altered a lot of social behaviour. Whether we'll remember the lessons, I doubt very much indeed. We'll carry on, we'll do what we've got to do, and then we'll probably go back to what we were. It's sad that so many people have got to die. People we've known. And what amazes me and I find really sad is that as I go shopping in town, Derby, so many younger people are not wearing masks. Or what's even more annoying, they wear a mask but they've got their nose clear. Defeats the whole object. Cover your nose and your mouth. But as I say, I've had one of the injections. Early next month is my second shot. No matter the scare stories, have it done. It's far better than death, trust me. Death is a limited option. So have that done, and hopefully in 20 years time we can look back and say, do you remember? The alternative. So anyway, I've rattled on quite enough, talking about much and nothing. We will be up and filming again, and there'll be all sorts. And also, hopefully, we can hear from you. I want to know about your experiences. We've got friends in America, Australia, all over Europe. We're international, baby. but I want to hear from you and see how you're coping. And also, if you're not coping, let us know. You know, I'm texting people on the phone no end of times because people react in different ways, and I want you to know that we give a damn, right? It's not all me, 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 me. We appreciate you. We want to keep you. You know, if you're dead, you can't ring in. But we have one of our subscribers. He's gone. So sorry you're gone, Alan. But there you go. So anyway, I've said enough.
We've got a question here come in.
We got a question.
Yes, we've got somebody watching. Hello. And they're asking about Christian and Viking conversion, but from the point of view from Christianity. It says, you talked about Viking conversion from the Viking point of view, but I'd be very interested to hear your ideas and thoughts about Viking conversion from the point of view from the Christianity.
It was a very clever, sought out thing. If you can imagine, Christianity in Saxon times was national. But when the Vikings came, it was pushed, ironically, to a small part in Ireland, but it wasn't out. And the Pope had brought in institutions whereby you couldn't trade with pagans. Those of you in the know will know, of course, the Vikings relied on trade. And for some reason, the Christianity held a resonance with women. Whether it's better or bad, I don't know, and I'm not entering into that discussion. But the fact is, you get the Norse invaders who marry Saxon women because the men had a wash and were a bit dramatic, and they were trendsetters. But they took on board the Christian belief system. Then they had children who probably were told a little bit about Dad's weird ways. The church was gaining in influence, and by the time of grandchildren, they were wholly Christian. Laws obviously were brought in where it was not outlawed, but you were sort of more pitied than scorned. We know that the runic alphabet was outlawed at the Synod of Whitby. Although it persisted in Iceland, it was actually illegal by death penalty to read runes, but when they advertised for a clergyman, he had to be able to read runes. Maybe that was to catch people who were doing it, I don't know. Today we seem to have reached a balance. But Christianity, it did good for some. It didn't for others. We can argue this until the cows come home. The fact of the matter is, we are ostensibly, even now, a Christian society. They set up, in its favour, if you were poor, they set up a relief for the poor. They took over the roles of medicine. There was literacy, one of the greatest gifts they ever got, and one of the great survival. So, you know, you could write something down of great import. 4 generations later, what you do is read it back and you've got it. In an illiterate society, it's word of mouth, and obviously it gets altered. So we could thank them, Christianity, for that. You know, nothing's all bad or nothing's all good. Yes, you can pick the flies out of Christianity as much as you like, but the fact of the matter is, they did a great deal of good for the right reasons. You get rotten apples in every society. So yes, by and large, if you balance it up, they did more good than bad and evil. But it's left a great legacy. I mean, if you're in Canterbury, great cathedral there, and some of the church architecture around is great. But what you have to remember is the ethos, make love not war. You know, it came from somewhere, and it is better to get on than fight wars. I'm not saying be a pacifist, but you know, it's pretty sound advice. Okay, I'm not a Christian. I don't profess to be, but they've got some good ideas, you know. And all I can say is, it's better, as Churchill said, to jaw than to war. So anyway, I hope that answers your questions. Bragi's just coming in with a massive chopper. Anyway, stay safe and thanks for answering. Anything else?
Yeah, there's another one here. Let me read it.
I'm having a drink.
Someone says, "How are you, Egil? Nice to see you back on the channel. Did you have a nice Christmas?"
To be honest with you, thank you, by the way. I am feeling okay, no hassles. Have a good Christmas. It was sort of isolated. I had my usual Christmas dinner, venison and roast tatties, and jolly nice it was too, by the way. Yeah, you know, things will get back to normal, and what I'm planning on doing is, when we get the all clear, is to have a Christmas in springtime sort of thing, ready for next Christmas. It's not that much different from when I was on the dole. I watch a lot of television and wander around in tracksuit bottoms, which I normally don't do. But I hope everybody out there is safe and happy. Like I say, if you do want to talk to somebody, text us, you know, in this channel. We're not saying we can cure it, but we can understand and hopefully make you feel a lot better. So anyway, thanks again for everybody who asks after us. We do appreciate it. We're doing pretty fine. I'm just a little bit more sexy than I used to be, and so is Bragi.
Too right, with bigger arms. Now, I think it's quite important to talk about mental health during the last 12 months, because I think people have been suffering with their mental health. So would you talk about that for me, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. We
have mental problems because some people find isolation really hard. To me, it's not a bother, and what I say is, talk to somebody, whether it's us, Samaritans, or whatever. Don't bottle it up. Yes, people get lonely. I text people, and you know, it doesn't matter what they text back to me, because it shows that somebody cares. And I have to tell you, somebody cares for you. You're not alone. You may feel that. Some people need to get out and about and others don't. A friend of mine, he needs to walk and go out a lot. Me, it doesn't bother me that much. It's not that different from my lifestyle. But if you have any problems, please tell someone. Don't bottle it up. You can text in here. We're not professionals, but we can empathise. But if you do, there are a number of organisations who can help you. Samaritans, people like that. And if you're suffering abuse because of that, let somebody know. Don't suffer in silence, because that is not the way. And as I say, we're not professionals, but we can empathise and maybe help you out on putting you into somebody else who knows what they're doing. So anyway, thank you for inquiring, and as I say, I hope to goodness that you're all, that you're all firing on all cylinders. And it's not forever. This will be sorted. I've had one jab. I'm having another next month. And remember, it's better to feel a little bit queasy than to end up dead. So take the jab. It's very rare. I hope he's waving at me. So anyway, you be safe. Bye.
Yeah, which one do you want to them? You can choose on camera.
Go on.
We'll give it here. I'll point it out for you. So I'll give him Egil a beer.
Well, it's cider, actually.
It'll soon be inside me.
Yeah. We got a glass.
I've got a question for you from a subscriber.
Go on then,
subscriber. Some time ago.
Yeah.
They asked a question, or roughly, Why do you see yourselves as Vikings and not as Anglo-Saxons? And they're basically trying to say, are we not being disrespectful to our heritage by not being Anglo-Saxon?
Well, that's a complicated question for me because my mother's maiden name was Branscombe, which is lawgiver by the river, and they were Saxons right from 8th century. Thanks awfully. So my ancestry has got Saxon blood in it. However, I think it's whoever rode through the village at the time. I've had Norwegians ask me what part of Norway am I from because of the colour of my eyes. I am essentially British. Yes, we had various invaders from time to time. Am I betraying my Saxon heritage? No. It's a fantasy role. I'm playing a part. I'm an actor. He's nearly fell over. I've been everything from Anglo-Saxons. I was an assassin in the 50s. I've been KGB agent on film. Doesn't mean to say that I disassociate myself from my past. In fact, we have villages named after us. Branscombe in Devon is named after us. I'm going to have a drink here.
Cheers.
Ooh. But, so long as we remember who we are and where we're from, that's okay. We are actors. We don't actually believe we are Vikings. We play the role of Vikings, and I'm flattered that we have portrayed it in such a way that you think we are. But we are, all of us, whoever rode through the village at the time. So I hope that's answered the question.
I think 2 key points on that.
Go on.
Is the fact that we live in Derby, which is really a Viking town and city, you think about it, to a degree.
You do.
Well, I do. Yeah. And secondly, the fact that we hung about a Viking reenactment group.
Well, first of all, I was born in Kent, which is the tribe of the Cantai. Although my family on both sides actually hails from Devon. I came here and joined a reenactment group because when I was at university, when I'd done my degree, I was bored. And I've always had a thing about the Vikings. I've probably said this before. I was not a nice child. I was actually got this kid's head under my arm and was punching him in class when I heard the magic words, and the Vikings used to come and burn churches. Don't know what that says about me, but I literally dropped this kid on the floor. And I was there. When I was at university at York, I happened to miss the Vikings. I did a lot on Saxons and I did some on Normans. But anyway, as I say, there was an excellent reenactment group. It wasn't Regia Anglorum, I don't think. It was run by the Jorvik Centre and it was more craft based, but I had a great time there. I then moved back to Belper, and I joined Derby Reenactment, Regia Anglorum as it was then, and not long back since. I met my compadre here, and I had a good time till it split, but that's another story.
We'll have to do a commentating.
Go on.
Not mainly on this comment thing, but it does come in. And they've asked, how important were the Godwins in the 10th century and what influence did they play?
They were extremely important. Harold Godwinson's dad, for instance, he obtained power, and it's thanks to him that he kept the king on the throne and informed the king on this. And to the point that Ethelred banished him, and he sort of said, yeah, whatever, you're only king because I say so. And to emphasise the fact, he had his daughter marry Edward the Confessor. Edward knew he couldn't say no, but he got round it and said, I have found Jesus. I am a celibate man, which was a slap around the head really to the Godwinsons, because they were banking on the king having a child by their daughter. And of course, he was celibate, which started a whole ball game of trouble. Harold was in contact with William the Conqueror, as he became known. He was on a mission somewhere, and we don't know what he was about, whether it was to promise the crown or not. There were a few contenders at the time, actually, and Harold was shipwrecked and was a guest of William the Conqueror, and they got on remarkably well. Up in Norway, Harold Hardrade, or Harold Hardman, decided, I want to be King of England. Well, there's 3 contenders and only 1 crown. And Harold's brother, one of his brothers, sided with Harold Bluetooth, and as it resulted, Harold actually was a good king in as far as he just wanted peace and quiet. But when Eric Bloodaxe landed, he went up and fought him to a standstill. But of course, by this time, William the Conqueror had come south at Hastings, or Pevensey, and in March, instead of taking his time and cutting him off, he rushed back down and was, ill prepared. The army itself was tired. I mean, you're marching over 100 miles, and you've only got the old feet to do it, and you're carrying all weapons, and the rest, as I say, is history. But Harold was a good king. Had he had more fortunate times and less pushy parents, he would have probably done a good job. William did his best with what he got. I mean, the advantage Harold had was the native population of England was behind him, whereas when William landed, the native population was against him and led him a merry dance. The Jarls, or the lords, would promise one thing and then go back on it, on the promise. And there's one who did about 4 times, changing sides. It was like a tennis ball. So maybe what William did was harsh, but I think it's something that he had to do. No doubt people will agree or disagree. I'll leave that to them. I'm going to have a quick drink.
Well, someone says, what are you drinking and what would Vikings and the Saxons drink?
I'm actually drinking what they would have drunk, which is cider. Probably a bit stronger than this, but it's a jolly good drink. And it's the first cider I've had in ages. Funny story, actually, in my pantry I have a locker. I bought a 4-pack of cider, which decided to fall over, and I was squirting cider out this tin. So I had to drink it quickly. But, cider is a very ancient drink, and it goes way, way back even to the Iron Age. And I think it's probably a lot stronger than what we drink. Would have bits in it. Also perry, which is an alcoholic drink made with pears. And it's a lot lighter. It's more like champagne and was used for special occasions. But it's a good drink. Hello, he's coming back.
The Bragi returns.
Ah. Well,
Sorry.
go on then.
Can you describe the clothes you're wearing? I'm new to reenactment.
All right, you're new to reenactment. Everybody's got to start somewhere. I have on my head what's called a Frisian cap. That's to keep your head warm, and if you put a helmet on, it acts like a protector. My tunic, as you'd call it, or skerta, which is where you get the word for shirt and skirt, that's made of wool. I have an underskerta, or underskirt. Again, keeps the wool off your skin. My trousers are a sign of wealth. There's about 22 miles of thread in one pair of trousers. And I've got leather shoes they've got hard soles. The originals would have had soft soles, because you're walking in muddy houses. but tarmac is a curse to turn shoes. Around my legs normally I have strips of cloth called puttees, or leg bindings as a correct archaeological term. They're called puttees in the British Army when I was in it. And you wrap it round the base of your trousers so the mud doesn't rot your trousers. So that's basically, I've got a necklace on, show me wealth. But anyway, welcome to the world of the Dark Ages. It can be great fun, but one word of advice: don't take yourself too seriously. It's only playing cowboys and Indians, and if you think about that and enjoy it and have a drink or two, you won't go far wrong.
So we're currently watching this also on Facebook or live streaming, so I'm getting a few comments from there on my computer. And a friend of mine asked about how would the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons cope with a pandemic, which is an interesting point.
And it just carried on as normal. The only medicine they had was sort of herbs and spices, and I'm afraid you either get it and die or you don't get it and live. It's as simple as that. Don't matter whether you're a king or a peasant. It's the luck of the draw. So that's basically the short answer. I mean, if this was going on in Viking times or Saxon times, they wouldn't have known what to do. We're not much improved because when it first started, we were in a right old panic. And we get a bit historical now. All I can say is follow the rules and you should be all right. There's no guarantees in life. Anything else?
Yes, somebody's asked on Facebook, what helmet is that to your left? Is that, and they say, is that the York helmet?
Oh, I mean to my right.
Yeah, well, you know, it's opposite on camera.
Yeah. This is a copy, a very good copy of the Coppergate helmet. Now, I don't know if you've been to the Jorvik Viking Centre, but outside there is a slab commemorating where this is. Now, if you want to see the actual Coppergate helm, it's at the Yorkshire Museum, not the Jorvik Centre. And I've seen the original, and this is a very, very good copy. But it's well worth a visit to the Yorkshire Museum when things get better. I think museums are open.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of cars.
I don't think they are yet.
Well, I saw a lot of cars in the car park as I walked down. I live near the museum, but that may mean people are preparing to get ready. And it's a bit like Hollywood here. I keep getting cameras.
Yes, I'm just taking a few photographs. Smile cap, Egil. Well, do that again. Well done. Wait a minute. We can use them as B-roll.
All right.
Not doing that one. Right, carry on.
Okay, I'm having another thing.
I've got another question on Facebook. I just saw on my PC. Right.
Whoa!
What you done?
Nothing. It's the ghost.
It's the ghost. Ghost have been played up again.
Ancient British.
Oh, that's just come in. Do you believe in ghosts, Egil? And have you seen one?
Yes, and yes.
Oh,
I used to work at times as Bragi for the jail in Derby for Richard Felix. Well worth a visit. And I was behind the bar, not drinking, and I saw a tall, thin girl in a black dress with a white apron, and she was wringing her hands. And I said, "Can I help you?" She said, "No, I'm looking for Mummy." And then she disappeared. I used to live at a place called Wingroves Hall, and there used to be ghosts of children. I grew up with ghosts. And for many years, as I went downstairs, I used to jump about 4 steps because I didn't know what they were just having a laugh. But yes, there are ghosts and there are spirits. I've experienced them, I've seen them, and like anyone else, treat them right, they treat you right. Some are just lost souls. And yeah, but Derby has a record of ghosts all over the place. And the funny thing was, there's a pub in Derby just opposite the museum, and they used the ghost there is of a woman who used to steal the corkscrews, and they order a load more, and then she'd let them all loose, so they got a big pile of them. And any woman going to the lavatory, she'd undo the door and flap the door. So yeah, they have a sense of humour. And one thing I remember when I was learning the ghost walk in Derby, I was coming down the stairs and there was the fruit machine, there was a girl, they were in fancy dress, and she got a very low cut top and well filled, and this guy took a photograph and he said, "Look at this." I wasn't on the camera, neither was Richard, but there was a dirty old man looking like that down their front, and it's quite an eye-opener. And Richard had just come out saying, "Oh well, you can't photograph ghosts," and there his face was, clear as day. We wanted to get a copy, but unfortunately we didn't get back to him in time because the guy who took the picture died. So believe it or believe it not, I've seen it, and so have other people, so there you go.
Well, one of my friends asked a question. Well, first of all, they made the comment saying, they always enjoy our backdrops. Are they always different? But what they want to know, your opinion, is what is the oldest form of house decoration?
Right. It depends what you mean by decoration. If you mean sort of pictures and things.
Something you might hang up to improve your house, like an antler or skin or...
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, if you look back at the Stone Age at caves, we've got cave drawings in Derbyshire. Yes, it could be looked on as a spiritual thing, but also it livens up a cave. In which case, cave drawings, I reckon, are probably the earliest. And then we go through to the roundhouses, where you might have bits of cloth like we've got hanging up, and later on, you know, it's what do we class as decoration? I mean, this might be to dry out cloth that you've just made or keep it safe. I'd like to hear what you guys think. But human beings seem to respond to patterns and things like that, and it makes them feel more comfortable. But go figure. So, hang on, he's coming back again. I will go home tonight.
Yes, it won't be long now. We'll carry on until a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a question here from one of my friends who's quite confused by the Dane Law.
All right.
And they say, can you give a brief and simple explanation of what the Dane Law is?
Okay. Imagine King Alfred has been driven back by the Vikings, Danes, and they push back, and then he fights back, and then he thinks, well, we could do this all the time, it ain't going to do us any good. So from the Thames up through Liverpool to the Mersey was an imaginary line. He says, right, north of that is the Vikings, Dane Law, to the south is Wessex. And if your camera's flashing, but if you dare to come across, we'll fight you. And of course, as things improved for Alfred, there were incursions on both sides. And it's, if you imagine an imaginary line, a border, and one side Vikings, one side Saxon, and the Vikings, the Dane law of the Danes. They tended to call the Vikings either Vikings or Danes. Very rarely do you hear them called Norwegians, Swedes, or whatever. And that was because they were usually led by Danish. If you go to York, that's more Norwegian origins, but they'll still call them Danes. So I hope that's answered your question. Another room.
Oh, cheers. Hang on, I've got another one coming in. Oh, yes, here we are. Oh, it's one of my old friends.
Hello, my old friend.
They're talking about deaths of monarchs and history, and they're interested to hear what you got to think about that. Like when King Harold died.
Yeah. Well, obviously your leader, you want to leave a legacy if a king or queen. Harold Godwinson, who was killed at the Battle of Hastings, we think was buried where the abbey is today. he was quite maimed. If you look at the Bayeux tapestry, you see a guy with an arrow, then the next thing you see a guy being hacked down with a Dane axe.
He'll have his eye out.
And apparently it was Edith Swanheels, his mistress, that identified him, quote, by certain marks. In other words, he had Edith tattooed across his chest. Now, whether he was buried in that church or not, I don't know. Better minds than mine will tell you. But also, it's people, monarchs need to leave, for some reason, their mark. And St Paul's Cathedral, you see all kinds of things. One of the odd things is, if you look at Nelson's tomb, it was actually originally designed for Henry VIII. But he died in the most inconvenient moment, so they kept it back for somebody. And of course, 1805, Nelson dies, so they want to make him look good. You could go to cathedrals around the country and you'll see magnificent bronze effigies, and it's saying, look, this is what I am, I'm still here. And it's, you could call it ego if you like, but they make damn good exhibits in cathedrals. But it's just the way we did when I was a student. We did mortuary behaviour, and it's quite astounding what people do even today. When the late great Freddie Mercury died, the religion he had originally, their bodies were exposed for the vultures to pick at. Obviously it didn't happen that way, but it just goes to show that there are various practices which, you know, quite rightly they take as normal. We would find extremely bizarre, and, you know, a bit unnerving. But horses for courses. There we go, next one.
Right. All right, so this is a new. I don't know who you are. But hello, nice seeing you watching on Facebook. We're also on YouTube at the same time. I'm sorry I'm behind the scenes. I've got a missing tooth. Anyway,
No, we'll go on. Yeah,
it's a good point. We'll have to talk about that medieval dentistry. But they're asking, you know, what's it like to be back to filming, and what are you looking forward to doing this year on the channel? And they also say, can you also explain what the channel is about?
Okay, well, first of all, I'll answer the questions back to front.
Right.
What is this channel about? It's about the Dark Ages primarily, but it's also talking about the archaeology as we perceive it today. It's also to answer questions about history, archaeology, but also, as I said earlier, there are a lot of people out there who don't know how to feel at this precise moment. We're not experts, we're not medical people, but talk, that's the thing. Don't bottle things up. You know, we're not medical men, but we do that. And what was the other part of the question?
Oh, what's it like to be back to filming again?
Fantastic. It's been very liberating. I walk quite a distance to get here, hint, hint, hint. But it's very rewarding. It's nice to see Bragi again. I haven't seen him for ages. And it's also gets the old grey matter stirring. One thing I find, I keep forgetting things. There was...
yes, Derek.
No, there was a record on last night by Pink.
Yeah.
Could I remember her name? No. And that's disturbing. Excuse me. But the point is, it keeps the grey cells going, and also company. I live on my own, and Bragi, I'm sure, you know, he lives with his dad, but at the same time, I'm sure he relishes a different company every now and then.
Well, yes. But you also get bored of being in the same room and the same house all the time.
Hey, I'm in a 2-bedroom flat.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, the highlight of my day yesterday was to clean the floor of the lavatory.
Oh, marvellous.
Hey, looks clean, and the kitchen. But same time, I just get used to it. I'm used to that sort of thing. But you keep it in touch with people.
I don't know that one.
Well, hello.
Sorry, that's Alexa, Egil.
All right.
Alexa, what is a Viking?
The noun Viking can have a few meanings. 1. Any of the Scandinavian pirates who plundered the coasts of Europe from the 8th to 10th centuries. 2. A sea-roving bandit, pirate. 3. A Scandinavian.
I've got one
4.
for her.
One of a series of space probes that obtain scientific information about Mars.
Yeah.
Do you want to reply to that, Egil?
Alexa, how do you milk chocolate?
Alexa, how do you milk chocolate?
Okay, for milk chocolate, I recommend milk chocolate pots with citrus shortbread from BBC Good Food. 50 minutes to make. Serves 4. What would you like? Start recipe. Send it to your phone. Or hear next recipe.
Anyway, getting back to the live stream after being rudely interrupted by the Amazon device.
Sorry, I don't have a recipe for that.
And the joys of technology.
Yes, well, you know, if you don't improve, we're going to replace you with Alexa.
I don't know.
I'm only kidding. So I got a wicked sense of humour.
Boo-hoo.
Talking about humour, do you think the Vikings and Saxons had a sense of humour?
Absolutely. It's I've covered this earlier on actually that humour varies.
You got coffee there?
Yeah, humour varies from generation to generation. In the sagas, there is one where they're trying to make Skathi laugh. So Thor ties a leather thong around his gentleman parts and the other part to the horns of a goat, which keeps banging his head up and down, causing him great agony, which apparently was funny. And that illustrates to us different things for different people. I mean, I'm of a different generation, the so-called alternative comedians. Most of them leave me cold. I'd have to say that most of the comedians in the 50s and 60s leave me cold. No, I'm not miserable. There are some good ones today. But the majority of them are stay-at-home jobs.
We could do a mini series on the shorts videos called Grumpy Old Viking, if you like. And have you just ranting about things and history.
I'm not a grumpy guy. I just have
No, you're not.
I have my own tastes, which I appreciate. Another generation will like them. I'm getting on. I'm 66, you know. So, you know, most guys of my age are going, meh, but I'm not. I understand things move on. But I just find a lot of this so-called humour unfunny. There are some really good ones. Rod Gilbert's one I find really good. And Alan Carr is another one. You know, just to name two that I'm not a particularly... I think I'm a quite happy guy, you know, I like a bit of humour. But at the same time, I get annoyed when things are really amateur. I've had to have a standard. And yeah, when you see them and they just come up and they've had a few drinks, they're not funny. Most of them are not, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I think we should do some stand-up comedy because we'll be a genius.
Oh dear.
Anyway, I've asked for some quick-fire questions to slowly wind down this live stream. So the first one comes in, what's your favourite colour?
I haven't got one, honestly. Purple.
Right, purple, right. Do you like football, somebody says?
Good God, no.
Right. What's your most favourite TV programme of all time?
Father Ted's one of them.
Father Ted, all right. You can have two more then.
Antiques Roadshow, and any cooking programme.
I said, somebody else wrote, I saw Lovejoy the other day and I've heard they're going to remake it. He said, you could apply for that part of the Old Man and the Tinker.
Well, as I say, somebody has to because Tinker's dead.
Yes, he has passed away.
Yeah, Ian McShane, he's aged, but
yes,
he was fantastic.
He's not going to be in it.
No, but I mean, I love antiques. I collect medals and militaria more than anything, but I do appreciate quality of the past. The thing I've got against these antique programs is you collect something because you want to collect it, not because it's worth 500 quid or a penny. You collect it because that is what you want. I mean, it's nice to know the price of things, yes, but that shouldn't be a raison d'etre.
Right. Doughboy77 says, "You're great, Egil. You make me laugh.
Thanks.
What's your favourite food?"
My favourite food? All of it. I love meat, obviously. Oh, it's not obviously. But I like corned beef. That's nice. Good for you. Taters, always a good one. And anything chocolate. I love chocolate. I shouldn't, but I do.
Right, we've got another user here, Sarah53793. Oh, I recognise that name. And they said, "I love your channel, but can you please do some regular live streams for us folks? Because we'd love to see that."
Well, yeah, I'm sure we will. As I say, the way things have been going lately, we're not even allowed to meet up. But it's relaxing a bit, and I'm sure Bragi will be able to sort that out. I mean, I'd be only too glad to speak to you. You know, I'm one of these guys, you want to talk to me, you talk to me. It's, you know, always glad to hear from you, the public, because we want to know what we're doing, if it's right, and we also want to know that you're safe. So, next one. It's lovely, isn't it?
Right, we've got a comment here from Fan of Fit MC.
Hi.
And they say, "Your channel is decent.
Thank you.
You got some really cool content." And they're saying, basically, can you do some more reading the comment videos, as they're great as well.
Yeah.
And we also love to see you do some comedy routines, something different.
Well, I'm sure we've got something planned in mind. Whether we'll be allowed to do it, I don't know. Yeah, where's my trousers?
Yeah, we can do that on YouTube.
Okay, but yeah, we like to keep it current in that we understand people got different tastes. If you notice, we've balanced things up. You have the official storytelling, which is ably done, and then you've got the sort of things in general. But we've gone through the COVID thing with our stock, but also we'd like to hear what you would like. Maybe there's questions to be answered. Just let us know, and we'll do our bit for you, because it's not just about our egos, it's about giving you stuff to keep you happy, to answer your question, especially at a time like this. So anyway, thanks. We hope to hear from you all later.
Right. So we have a comment here talking about, some time ago we put out a poll on the channel.
All right.
And a poll is basically where you give me a choice of, that's a wooden stick. I know you're branching out there a little bit. But they basically said, you put out a poll basically saying you're going to make some content on YouTube and how to be successful on YouTube. They're basically saying, are we going to make that content in the future? Are we going to do that? Because he's basically saying, I'm a new YouTuber, you know.
Well, we'll do what we can do. I mean, Bragi will be able to answer you better than me on this, because he's the brains behind it. I'm just the eye candy. But yeah, I mean, we have various ideas, like the minute format and things like that, and you know, the Q&A thing. I like the Q&As, I really do, because you get to know what people are thinking and which direction we need to go. We have various things in the pipeline which Bragi will be able to tell you better than I. I mean, I just sit in front of the camera and, you know, glam it up. But as I say, I mean, he is the technician and he puts in amazing hours. I mean, me, let's be fair, I turn up, I do my bit and I go home again. This guy is slaving over, getting things right, getting the kinks out. And I think, you know, all praise to him, you know. And also you get Tyrkir, who comes in, tells his stories, and very good they are too.
We've got a comment that kind of relates to Tyrkir.
Go on then.
But in a sense it relates to his content. He said, I've really enjoyed recently the poetry you've been putting on the channel. Will we be seeing some poetry from the great Egil Thorsson?
Well, Tyrkir I've known for years. There's a bit of bard in him, you know, he's really skilled at that sort of thing. Poetry from me? Ooh, I don't know yet.
I could write you some.
Yeah, okay.
You read it.
Well, I can read it out. I'm quite happy to do that. But yeah, you know, why not? But I think, you know, Tyrkir is the poet, isn't he, amongst us all?
Well, I've done some as well.
Oh, yeah, but, you know, Tyrkir, that's his
He is. He's really fantastic on that.
But watch this space. Who knows? I'll say if he writes it for me, I'll read it.
We have another commentator says, I'd love to see this channel do a 24-hour live stream. That would be brilliant. Are you up for that? I don't know.
One day.
Well,
we need
maybe
a lot more staff, won't we?
Well, maybe we could do it like 6 hours each.
Jeez. Yeah, all right. Well, the short answer to that is I don't know. We'll give it some thought. Anything else?
Yes, we've got another commentator saying, if you just want a holiday of your dreams, where would you go?
York. I'm not into foreign travel. I know it sounds odd, but I went to Italy when I was 19 in a cholera epidemic, and I'll be honest, I love my country and I'd love to go to York, which I will do later on. So
This is a funny one. This is from a friend of mine. So me and my grandma have been watching some of your very funny folk tales.
All right.
I think my granny fancies Egil.
She's got excellent taste. I am a sex bomb. Although the fuse may be a bit low. We've had a light go out. Although perhaps the fuse is a little frayed. But hey, you go, girl.
You're like the Tom Jones of the Viking world.
No knickers, please. But yeah, well, you know, I enjoy what I do, and I hope I bring a bit of fun to people's lives. You know, it sounds very patronising. I don't mean it to, but I mean, we're in it
to win it.
To win it, yeah. You know, and I'm flattered. I really am. I always am flattered because we live very odd lives. Well, I did, but yeah, keep it coming.
Hang on. Right, we're going to do one more serious question and we're going to wind down. So whoever in the next minute asks the best serious question for Egil to finish on, I think I'm going to ask him. So just give me a second while I wait for Facebook to load up. Hang on. But in the meantime, what are your plans for the rest of your week? What are you having for your tea?
I don't know. I'll try and call in the petrol station and see if I can get myself a pie.
Oh, well, you'll be going back with some food.
All right. Well, I've got food, but at the same time, that's about the highlight of my days. What do I have for food?
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. Let's face it, you know, going shopping recently hasn't been so fun.
No, I mean, this is it. You've got to be so careful. But can I ask people, when you're going out, mask up and cover the nose. It's very important. You may be all right, but you may be spreading it to other people. And that doesn't matter whether you're young, old, or whatever. You know, you're never too old to catch COVID. Meanwhile,
right, so I think the last question is going to go to a friend of mine. I won't say his name, wants to be anonymous.
All right.
And it's about a subject that's been quite big recently with Netflix.
Right.
And he kind of talking about Sutton Hoo. And what would the entertainment have been like in the age of Sutton Hoo? If you was at Sutton Hoo under Radwold,
yeah,
what would the entertainment have been like? I mean, we got Netflix, haven't we, and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I was lucky enough to dig at Sutton Hoo, and very interesting it is too. I studied it at university. And one thing that stands out is that there were like a harp. So they talked about passing the glee wood, where you would sing and do your bit. They would have riddles. You would see the riddle Exeter Riddle book, some of which show whether you've got a dirty mind or not. Well worth a look. And there were boxwood pipes, things like that. And they would have people, what we would call today stand-up comedians. They'd be telling jokes, some a bit risque, some not. And I'm sure you'd have people juggling and doing magic tricks and things like that. And the main thing is, you know, the entertainment of the time was keeping warm, keeping safe, and having a good feed and plenty of drink. But, you know, I mean, their sense of humour and our sense of humour may not be the same, but people like a bit of humour no matter what age they are. And the Sutton Hoo Centre is open. Go and see it. It's fantastic. I dug there as a student when the big gale was on in 87. But it's phenomenal what is there. But what you want to bear in mind is, yes, you've got the Anglo-Saxon ship, but underneath that, you've got Iron Age site, and there are Iron Age artifacts. There are also things that go bang, because it was a military site in World War II. And one of our happy band stuck a trowel through a 2-inch mortar, which was sweating nitroglycerin. So I'll leave that one with you.
Right, well, you want to say goodbye and we'll leave.
Okay, goodbye everybody. Please come in more with your comments and
share the videos.
Yeah, share them out. Look, just because we're in lockdown doesn't mean to say you can't have fun. Enjoy yourself. And if you want to talk to anybody, talk to us. I'm not saying we are not professionals, but we do understand that you can get a bit isolated.
You got that right.
Okay, I'm taking my necklace off over my nose and into my shoes. So you stay safe, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.